All right, it's that time of week again. Time for Mail Call.
Oh, man, I love it.
I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. Odds are, if you're listening to this, you already know who we are. But a quick little introduction for somebody that may have found it on the internet. We podcast about any and everything. We started off just talking about The Walking Dead. Now we talk about, breaking stories. We'll talk about current events to conspiracies and strange phenomena, supernatural. Really, anything we can cut on the mic and run our mouths about is on the podcast now. So there's a little something for everyone. Consider hitting that subscribe button. If nothing else, leave us a like. That helps out a ton. After the podcast, we'll talk about our Patreon and social media. But in the meantime, it's time to answer some questions. As always, JP has the questions ready to rock. JP, who we starting out with?
Well, we got Cindy P. I'll just go with Cindy P. 2 days ago, let me make sure I got these in the correct. Not exactly the correct. That's the only one that's a little out of order. You know what? She's got the list of questions, so we'll save Cindy for the end. How about that?
That works for me.
All right. Moving on, we'll come back to you, Cindy. Heidi L. 6 days ago. Do you think they are going to show Alpha killing someone from the main group in a brutal way? I think they should because that Pike scene didn't have a huge impact because they didn't show any of the killings. I don't know if they are going to do that, though. Negan killing Glenn and Abe caused so much backlash that they probably don't have balls to do it. I never understood that. I lost my favorite character in that episode, and it is still the best thing I've ever seen on TV. Another one. Let's imagine that you are a famous author writing a new book. What would be the topic of your book? Mine would be a true crime case. A bit difficult to choose one this fast. Too many interesting cases.
Very interesting. Well, the Alpha thing, I feel like you're right. I totally feel like they think that they got so much backlash over the Abraham and Glenn thing being brutal. They're probably shying away from that. But also, too, though, there is something special about horrible things that happen off screen. You know what I mean? Like it's certain movies and film, it is more effective to do the killing off screen just because of the shock, and I think the reason why they didn't want to show the head Pike thing is because you were supposed to, those of us that read the comics were waiting for it, but you were supposed to be shocked when you saw those heads on the Pikes. If you would have saw Alpha hacking heads off, you wouldn't have been probably near as shocked. And I don't know, there's been certain scenes like in Scream 2, is it, I think, where they pull What's Jamie's last name? The dude that's not really all that funny. But he was a guy that knew all the horror movie rules and stuff. Jamie Kennedy, I think is his name.
Okay.
But they pull him into the van, and you don't see him die. You just see the van rock and hear him screaming, and he's getting hacked away. That shit bothers me so bad. So sometimes the off-screen kills can be effective if they're done right.
Yeah, man. I mean, that used to be standard in old horror movies like Hitchcock and stuff. Remember
Jaws?
Psycho? I mean, all you saw was the knife going up and down, I guess like blood on the shower curtain.
Yeah, which I think was actually chocolate syrup in real life.
Syrup,
yeah, because it was black and white. They could get away with it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think I personally have been, I perceive Alpha to be very brutal and all of that. But we also read the comics. Heidi, do you read the comics? Because if you don't, then it might totally be, different for someone who doesn't read the comics. You might need to see her do something really brutal just to get how. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going into it kind of with the preconceived notion of knowing that she's brutal from the comics and then just perceiving her that way on film or what. But, I think we're going to see Alpha, probably Beta as well. I think Sadiq is going to get Gabriel's death from the comics. I won't tell you how he dies, so it won't spoil it. But I think they're going to switch Gabriel and Ezekiel. I mean, not Ezekiel, sorry. Sadiq and Gabriel are going to get switched out.
God, I can only hope, man. Sadiq, I can't take much more of that guy.
No, he's really not good.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I love Gabriel. Like, that shows good acting and then good character development. While The Walking Dead's never been praised for amazing writing skills, at one point I really didn't care for Gabriel. Not even before he was treacherous. I just was kind of like, he's just a whiny little biatch, Mm-hmm. But they really have changed it. His character's grown in a way that I really like Gabriel. Like, I actually really enjoy him now, but Sadiq gots to go.
Yeah, man. And still the fact that they used Carl's death to introduce a character like
as
Sadiq.
Weak as Sadiq.
Jeez Louise, man. Yeah, enough of that. But so what do you think about Heidi L's inquiry? If you were going to write a book, what would the title be to your new book? Or not the title, but just the subject matter.
Well, it's funny that you say that because my friend Joey, one of my closest friends, wonderful guy, when I used to write a lot, he was a fan of it. Like, he would have me email him chapters and stuff, and I had wanted his opinion because Joey is probably in like the top 3 most intelligent people that I know. I mean, he's just we've always joked that he's the smart one, and he's
your Donatello.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I think we've said that before. And Ninja Turtle, I mean, granted, he's 6'8", so he's a little bit taller than Donatello. But I think we've said before in our group of friends that he would totally be Donatello because he's smart. But I wanted him to read over him. And Joey's brutal. Joey's very blunt. Joey don't mind telling you that was boring, that sucked. And he would always read it and give me advice. But anyways, we were talking the other day, and he had texted me randomly and told me that basically I need to get back to writing. Like, he missed getting chapters, and he really wants to see me publish something. And a guy I actually went to high school with, a really good guy, Riley Toon. Look him up on Amazon. He actually has 2 books published. I'll try to find the names of those to give them to you by the end. But if you're like, they're superhero themed. But Riley Toon is his name. And but anyways, we saw that, and Joey just was so. I'm actually working on a book now. Actually working on like 2 or 3. I think I really would just prefer to hook up with an artist and make them into a comic, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. My one of the subjects that he liked the most was JP. You answer the question first. I don't want to hog the mic. I will tell you what mine's about in a bit, but let JP go ahead and get his out.
Well, I mean, mine, most of what I've ever written has been sort of just experiences pulled from my life, made into, whether you want to call them short stories or personal essays. I was actually trying to see if my blog page was still up, but I don't know if there's any Charles Bukowski fans out there, but it's pretty reminiscent of that. I also like Charles not Charles, what was that guy's name? Vonnegut, the Slaughterhouse-Five guy. I like his stuff a lot. I've tried to write sort of science fiction-y stuff before, but mainly mine's just nice little slice-of-life stuff. It's very much the kind of stories I convey on the podcast. Just imagine that like in a blog form. So
mine are mostly sci-fi. However, the one that he wants me to work on the most, because when I told him the ending, he was like, "Dude, you've got to write that." It's just a tedious process I know how it starts, I know all of the in-between, and I know how it ends. It's just going in and filling in everything. But basically, a girl gets discovered in a shopping mall by this talent, like they're in the cafeteria, and he, of course, thinks she's hot, but he approaches her because he's like, look, we've got a part in a movie, and we've not been able to find anyone that we think fits the role. But looking at you, you look the way I imagine when we wrote the film. Would you be interested in auditioning, and do you have any acting experience? And she's like, well, I did take theater in college. It wasn't my major, but I took it, for a little while. So she auditions, she gets the role, and she instantly, TMZ and all these other places just start making her the hot new thing, They're just kind of like Jennifer Lawrence, just came out of nowhere and then was everywhere, and everybody. And they're in the process of filming. And it sounds cheesy, but bear with me. The twist at the end really makes the cheesy okay. But basically, her friend is Japanese and says that she's been best friends with this girl most of her life. And her boyfriend, and her friend are at the house. And the Japanese girl's like, look, my grandmother's old-fashioned. She wants me to read this thing that's supposed to give you good luck and blah, 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 blah. And so she's like, yeah, that's sweet. You can do that. So she does it, and she goes, oh, that's to summon a demon. My bad. And then they laugh about it, and she finds the right one and reads it. But then as things progress, this girl starts to see things, and weird stuff starts happening. But it is not your traditional like ghost or demon story. And like I said, there's a pretty I like the ending, and the ending is what Joey was like, dude, you should write that. So I'm currently kind of working on that, but I don't know if it'll ever do anything. But
there's only one way to find out, even if you just self-publish something or publish something online, it's just like these podcasts, man. Even if nobody was listening, just the satisfaction we get after being like, man, that was a killer podcast, and now it's like there, And
then it gets 50 views.
Yeah, then it gets 50 views. But just putting it out there, man, even if it's just a message in a bottle that no one's ever going to read, it's something satisfying about that.
Yeah, well, my buddy Riley Toon, I haven't seen him in years, but it's called Paragon, an Icon Story, Book 1, and then he's got another one called Omega, And it's Icon's book 2. So Paragon and Omega. Riley Toon wrote them. Check them out. I think you can get Audible audiobooks. Well, if you download the Audible trial, you can get it for free. Otherwise, you got to pay for it. But I've heard good things about it. I don't know if he's self-published or what, but it is on Amazon. Paragon and Omega. And if you do download it, make sure to leave something. Let him know that you heard about it from the podcasting dad. But yeah, Riley Toon. I went to high school with him. Hell of a nice guy.
I'm telling you, man, I'm pretty bummed. I was trying to pull up my my blog page, but I can't find it. I did it on WordPress. I only put a couple blogs on there, but anyway, not important.
Well, thank you so much for your question, Heidi. Great discussion.
Yeah. Okay, our good old friend Jeep 6 days ago. I love Tarantino's movies. My favorite is also Inglourious Bastards.
Love it.
He has a new movie out today, actually, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that I hopefully will go see next week. Mail call. If you could be any character from a Tarantino film, who would it be? My fight song would be Drowning Pools, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Yep, I think that would have been mine, too. I just got a little played out on it because every fight movie in that time was featuring it. But, I mean, when that song came out, I'm right there with you, Jeep. I was jamming that song, man.
It was an anthem for sure.
It's such a shame, too. That lead singer died very young. Like, I ain't going to say it was right after the song. It won't too much. I mean, I think that's really the only, one of the main big hits he had, and then he ended up passing away. Can't remember how he passed away. I don't know. Which character would you be, JP? You're in a Tarantino flick. Which character are you going to be?
I would be Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs, Steve Buscemi's character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just, he's the only one with a happy ending in that movie. So, yeah, that would be mine.
I don't know, man. I feel like I want to be any of Samuel L. Jackson's characters, like in Pulp Fiction. English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Yeah.
I love it when he's like, say what again? I dare you. Say what? I love Samuel L. Jackson, man.
Probably not his character in Django Unchained, though.
No.
That would not be so much fun.
No. So, yeah, except for Django. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I kind of would like to be Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. I mean, I like John Travolta's character, but just Samuel L. Jackson was just kind of like had that Negan energy in that movie. You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Being Vincent Vega, I mean, it seems like it'd be cool, but the intravenous heroin use, I don't know if that'd be a good fit for you. I don't know. It's probably not a good fit for anyone. Heroin.
No. But I just love it when it's just like, I have never had. Is that new Hawaiian joint?
Yeah.
He like bites. That is a tasty burger.
I'm telling you, man. I would love to see you like a photo crop or whatever. Vincent Vega's haircut onto your face.
The long hair. And all
that? That weird hairdo.
No.
It wasn't
I think I could probably pull off Samuel L. Jackson's haircut in that better than I could pull off John Travolta's. Long hair and it does not work with me.
That was a weird little hairstyle he had, but it worked for him.
It worked for that part. I mean, I think the weirdest hairstyle, which it wasn't a Tarantino movie, but is still what's his face in No Country for Old Men. They said he cut his hair like that, just kind of BSing or whatever, and like showed up with his haircut like that. And that wasn't originally how it was planned, but it was so strange and just fit the character that they were like, let's leave it, man. And it's become like iconic, that weird ass haircut. But yeah, I don't know. That's tough. But yeah, I'm going to go with Samuel L. Jackson. Or either I would mind being Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. I mean, she was a badass.
Yeah. Bad Mama Jamma, that's for sure. So many great characters, man.
Good question, though.
And hopefully I'm seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this week at some point. So
yeah.
We will see. All right, Brianne McCann. 6 days ago. Hi, guys. What is one thing you don't understand about yourself?
Everything.
I'm like so just like stuck in my head and introspective. I've pretty much got to the bottom of all my foibles and weirdness.
Well, see, I guess that'd be
dwell on it so much.
I guess that'd be mine. Then I'm always stuck in my head, but I'm not on top of anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And watching years and years of Frasier has helped as well. Mm-hmm. So gave me some powerful psychiatric insights. Thank you, Dr. Crane. He's always listening. Santa Claus may be always watching, but Dr. Crane is always listening. All right. Brianne McCann also says, and one more to ensure Mail Call stays alive. If you could donate to one charity, which one and why? Have a good weekend, guys.
Man, that's so tough. I mean, I'd want to donate to something to save children, but I also really like the Wounded Warrior Project, where we actually did some work with them for radio promotion, and the country star John Anderson where we, presented them with like a check or whatnot.
That's awesome, man. From what I understand,
they got to meet John Anderson.
My predecessor on the country station actually played with John Anderson, right?
So he says.
Yeah, so he says. But as
So
for
he
me,
says.
With charities, I don't know, because I'd have to do a lot of research, because so many charities, man, have
Right,
shady stuff
right.
going on. So I'm afraid to name one, because then someone's going to comment, they were caught up in like a child sex trafficking thing, right?
All right, so I had something on Facebook, and I wasn't talking about us donating to Wounded Warrior, but somehow somebody brought it up, and I commented something. This guy commented and talked about how they were caught embezzling and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I don't know about that, but I do know that I watched 2 Wounded Warriors, actual soldiers, get handed big checks, you know what I'm saying, that were theirs. There was no stipulation.
Yeah.
This was to help with, your injuries and dealing with life after service. So that problem should be sorted out, but don't try to say that they don't do anything for troops, because I've seen it firsthand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not saying that. I mean, like we've said, lots of nonprofits and charities. I think what I would like to do is find a special case. Like if I was rich, like not necessarily donate to a big charity, but like, comb through cases, maybe like a family whose father or mother was killed in combat, and do something real special for them, or a child who's got a bad disease. Just that's kind of along the lines of the charity work that I would like to do.
Yeah, man. And like nationally, I haven't like researched the organization, but our local United Way, we've done some work with them through our work. And I mean, they're like locally, the people involved here, super cool. They're awesome. And again, if there's some scandal behind the scenes, I don't know.
With big companies like that, it's almost impossible to not have some kind of shady schnitt.
Right.
It doesn't reflect on everyone or their mission statement. Just some organizations get compromised by douchebags.
It's like if I was out here behind the radio station selling meth, I mean, that doesn't mean our radio station is in a meth game.
Right.
It just means that I'm making money selling meth.
Yeah, man. United Way's
I'm certainly not doing.
United Way's cool, man. They had a really cool little like luncheon the other day. Like $4 got you like two big hot dogs and chips and cookies and watermelon and all. I was like, man, if they did this every day, it's where I'd go for lunch.
Yeah, man. Like I said, locally, there's some really awesome people. But anyway, moving on. Thank you, Brianne. You're keeping Mail Call alive, and we love you.
You really are. I believe right now Brianne is one of the main proponents to keep it going.
Yeah, she is. We love Brianne. All right, Suzanne Denmark. Hi, gentlemen. I'm asking, what is the one piece of clothing that you could not stand to part with? Mine would be my Speedo. It's beach season, and I got to let my boys hang out, and, that's it.
I mean, are we talking about like a specific, we're talking about like you have to have a shirt or you have to have pants? We're talking about like a specific shirt, you know what I'm saying? Or a specific pair of pants.
Like a signature thing you got?
Yeah.
Like your favorite? Well, mine, you've seen my go-to shirt. It's a long sleeve, like a Western-style shirt with the pearl snaps. It's red and blue. I've wore that to like more remotes and stuff than anything. I did my first stand-up bit in that shirt.
I have to really
that's
dig.
my go-to shirt, that pearl snap button-up.
I'm a jeans and T-shirt kind of guy, so I mean, I own more because I'm sorry if I go in somewhere and I see a T-shirt I like, especially if it's on sale for like $8, $9, $10, I'm gonna grab it up. I mean, I have more T-shirts than I need, but with that said, I really am struggling to think of something that like I just desperately have to have. You know what I mean? Like I have a Vans T-shirt. It's like one of my favorite T-shirt colors. I really like plum-colored shirts. Mm-hmm. And that really light red, like it's not quite pink, but it's a really light red color. And I have this Vans T-shirt that I absolutely love. I try not to wear it too much because I don't want to wear it out. But like it's light pink and it's just got Vans written. I mean, not light pink, sorry, light red, but it's got Vans written in a slightly darker red. I don't know. It's just something about the way it looks and feels and fits and everything. So that would probably be it. I'm trying to think.
Dude, have you ever seen these like T-shirt quilts people make? Like their old like concert tees have gotten so ratty they can't wear them, so they sew them into a quilt. I always thought those were super cool.
My friend Brad's wife Megan, she's got something, and I can't remember what it was, but I don't know if it's concert T-shirts or not. I have to check, but it's like a quilt, but it's sewn out of like old shirts or something. It's really, really cool. Yeah. We got one for my mom when my grandfather passed away. It's a bunch of his old shirts that he used to wear all the time. He was like a working man's man, so 90% of his shirts were just the fruit of the loom, like pocketed
I was gonna
colored
say, have the
T-shirts
pocket on the breast.
Yep,
Yeah.
and he had a few that had words on them, so we took those and got those made into a quilt. And I think that's really, really cool when someone loses someone. A cool way to kind of
Yeah, man. Did he get those shirts specifically to hold a pack of cigarettes?
Oh,
like a million other
well,
guys?
you know, it's funny. Yes, he did smoke. Both my grandpas smoked. One eventually had to stop because it's kind of gross, but his fingers and toes started falling off because he was a diabetic, and
That's
it
a good
was.
reason to stop.
But my other grandpa never truly quit. I'll never forget. He smoked for a long time, and my grandma wanted him to stop. And I'll never forget. And he I don't think he smoked with me in the truck. I think I remember him pulling off somewhere to step out and smoke. But I remember him telling me not to tell my grandma. And then he was like, I'm going to die anyways. Might as well enjoy life while I'm here. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, well, man, he's made it to like 70-something. I mean, I'm sure that is you're like, dude, I've made it 70 years. I don't have that much time left. I'm going to enjoy the time I do have.
Yeah,
but
it's easy to say until you got that trach coming out your throat.
No kidding, which I think he ended up, but I don't think I know, but he ended up dying, complications with stomach cancer.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's oh god, we're gonna start getting morbid. We're gonna steer away.
Not getting morbid. My grandpa, man. I think my only regret with him is that I wasn't. I don't know. I wish I would have. He was a real looking at him retrospective. You don't think about it when you're a kid, but he was a really cool grandpa. He was just like a man's man. You could tell that he was. He's a stocky built fellow. Probably someone back in his day you didn't mess with. He had the big butt chin and the big square jaw and. Always wore those trucker hats sitting up high on his head, and was a really, really good man. I really just wish I would have. And he died when I was about 18 or 19, so I do wish that I would have realized how awesome he was at the time. I mean, fortunately, some of my other people that I've lost, I got more mature and definitely made more of my time with them. But he was definitely one. If I could go back, I just wish I would have, I'm not going to say been a little nicer. I wasn't mean to him, but would have,
Yeah, it's the same thing with my grandfather, man. He was a carpenter, like he had great garden farmer, but he was very introverted, much like myself, so we never really connected hardcore. And he died when I was 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah, my grandpa, I wouldn't say he was introverted, but he definitely wants somebody that was just going to be very conversational, like he was going to yell at you across the parking lot, like, "What's been up, man?" Like he wasn't that kind. He was just kind of, and he kind of talked like this,
right.
He called me Judson.
Yeah.
Which he talked country, but I think his family was mostly from Ireland. He'd be like, Judson. I think he died thinking my name was either Jason or Judson. No. I don't think he died knowing my real name was Justin.
Yeah, dude, I get called Jason a lot. I never understand why. But anyway, all right, well, thank you, Suzanne Denmark. We love you. You look very, very nice. And we're going to move on to Eternal Wreck, who says, I've always thought it'd be cool to have a Rick and Morty dream about interdimensional cable. Haha, funny how JP said that. Yeah, that was a wild dream. I need to be better with my dream journal. But anyway, and this one we'll come back to because we're going to have to go to actually
I already got it.
You are? Oh,
already
sweet.
pulled it up. You talking about Javier?
Yeah, Javier.
Javier says we didn't answer his question, so now we went back to the video before that one, and I've got your question, Javier, and we do apologize about that. We try to make sure to get everybody's, but sometimes if they're on different videos, it's easy to look past. But so Javier asked from last week on which podcast was this? This was the dinosaur fraud one, which we totally know dinosaurs were real. But he said, hey guys, hope you guys doing fine. Mail call, JP, Justin, you guys should do a podcast about religion. I believe I haven't heard you guys talk about it unless I missed it. No hard feelings, but you guys should.
I mean, it's come up before. We've never focused in on it. But.
Yeah, I don't know if, I would, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but people are like, for instance, we had a podcast yesterday talking about space fraud, part of our new thing. Like next week, we might do like the Mandela effect, like someone suggested, which is going to, if you people want to suggest a topic, that makes it easier for us.
And we're going to go into the upside down world, which a lot of people think is based in fact. We got a friend who's into that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the thing to realize is that podcast is just to discuss these conspiracy theories. JP is a man of mystery. Sometimes you don't ever know what he does and doesn't believe. Sometimes he just will present the argument as someone who believes it
I just
to argue for it. Right.
I love questioning. And
but we had
that
somebody,
makes people uncomfortable.
And I'm not trying to call them out, and I hope they're listening because I hope they'll stick around. But we had somebody comment and say, "I love your Walking Dead stuff, but I don't agree with your theories. I'm going to unsubscribe." And I'm like, "Well, number one, then just don't listen to those podcasts. But number two, none of those are we trying to say that this is what we think is fact. We're discussing popular conspiracy theories. We're going to go into flat Earth at some point, and I do not for one moment think that the earth is flat. There is not one part of me that believes the earth is flat. But we're going to talk about it.
And see, I do give some credence to that, but I'm not out here trying to evangelize it, And I mean, that's like if like I give credence to flat earth, like I said, and you decide because of that you don't want to be my friend anymore, That's just like our commenter from yesterday. He's unfriending us because he doesn't believe in
right. And it's like
I don't know.
That's it's just a discussion. You don't have to get so religion. People are even more. I feel like we'll do a podcast about religion and lose half our subscribers. That's part of the reason why we don't really necessarily, because religion is something they're even more up in arms about. And I would love to have a discussion of the possibilities of different religions and what I do and don't take from certain religions and all of that, and the goodness of religion and the harms of certain religions. Like, I'd love to talk about all of that, but I feel like if we can't even just have a conversation about some people thinking that space fraud exists, which I totally don't. I totally believe we've been to space, all of that stuff, but we can discuss it. If we can't even have those discussions without losing subscribers, I feel like religion would doom us to drop our subscriber base by at least half. So I'm kind of a little more apprehensive. But Javier, for you, maybe we will do a little religion discussion. If people can just come to it with an open mind.
Yeah, man, people get butthurt so easily,
Because not once have we said, like, I mean, again, I feel like most people, like you said, they don't even listen to it. They see the title and instantly, if you would have listened to it yesterday, you'd have heard me giving JP a slew of questions trying to debunk the space fraud, like me saying, yes, we've been to space. Well, then why do we have this and this and this? And then JP giving his responses. So if you we totally go both sides on it.
Oh, we go both ways, man, all the time. But it's just
so with religion, I'm a little more apprehensive, but I'm not going to swear that we won't do it.
Yeah, man, we have touched on it, and if you've listened to any of those instances, I'm very critical of any religion, all religion. I think it's, in a lot of cases, has been the bane of society. But anyway, we're not getting into that. We love you, Javier.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Sorry we missed your question, but I promise we will try to look out for questions on other videos, and we thank you so much.
We're glad you're an open-minded cat.
Absolutely.
And, hang with the big boys. All right, Brianne McCann is back.
Boom.
I think nobody goes. The sexual question with you, Justin, is because we know you don't want to go there. Now, JP, well, he's an open book with no shame. Either way, we love you guys. I don't have too much shame. But I just,
One day we're going to start another podcast, and I'm going to go under another alias, and I'm going to be the wild one.
Yeah, man.
And it would be fun to do like an upside down, like do another podcast where you take the straight man role and I take the wild man role.
And I'd also like the listeners to give them a little insight. I remember last week some kind of sexual question came up, like what's your favorite
position? Yep.
And that was right after another employee came into the office, and she's kind of like Phyllis from the TV show The Office. She's very motherly, and it was kind of a weird vibe when we.
Yeah, she was sitting like 2 rooms over, could probably hear us.
It did kind of make things a little uncomfortable. So that just to give you a little insight, and she's a sweet lady, but we definitely don't,
We don't want her to see this side of us.
We're good little boys when she's in the station. We'll just say that.
Yeah, we're like her sons.
So anyway, but we love you, Brianne, and keep it freaky. That's it. Kim Younger, mail call. Would you rather live for a week in the past or the future?
The past for me. I know they say that. Somebody would probably argue that's not good for you, but I don't want to go to the future because being that I know what the future is going to be, I might mess it up and then never get that future if it's something I like. You know what I mean?
It's one of those weird things. I mean, are you going to irrevocably harm the present by going to the past? Or are you going to, like you said, go to the future and have like a Back to the Future 2 where, you try to grab a book and, go back to your present and make a bunch of sports bets, but then Biff gets the book and that's a tough one, man. I would like to go back like way, way back to like prehistory to see exactly, like the dawn of civilization and who was really building the Sphinx and all that stuff. But at the same time, man, the future, I don't know. You know how afraid I am of the future, so I don't know that I would go there.
I'd go to the past because for me, like one of the most important things in life is people and the relationships you have and yada yada. I'm not going to get sappy, but like that's my view on life. Like when people are like, what's the point of life and all of that? For me, it's the relationships and the connections you make. But I would definitely go to the past because there are so many people that are no longer here that I would love to see again. Even if it was just for a few more minutes, I would love to.
You're talking about like your personal past?
My personal past. I don't even have to go back to, it'd be cool to go back and learn stuff. But at the end of the day, that I would still, there are people I would like to have some final words with, or another conversation with, or advice from that I can't get anymore. So I would go to my personal past just for that.
I'd probably just get those Powerball numbers and go back like a week or so, man. Be sitting pretty when I got back home.
Yeah,
but
if there was no meaning to it, I would, yeah, absolutely. Now that's genius. I would totally do that. Go back and get the Powerball numbers, and then just come back having played them and just be freaking loaded.
But that raises a lot of questions.
You would have to go to you would have to go to the future for that, right? Like if you wanted to get like a current, because if you went to the past, I mean, unless you manipulated the past and came back and you were rich, if you went to the future, you could find out what the winning Powerball numbers were for an upcoming lottery, then go back to your time, and when that lottery comes up, play those numbers, and then boom.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it either way. Like, I could get a printout of the winning numbers from this week and then go back to last week and have them in my pocket.
Right.
It would work either way. I mean,
again, JP loves to go either way.
Yeah, I do. I do it all the time. But yeah, man, and that brings up a slew of other questions. You know, I mean, is the future written? I mean, if you're going to the future, is it necessarily like I don't know?
Is that necessarily going to be the future you're guaranteed to have?
We're getting into like Terminator timeline,
Terminator, Avengers Endgame timeline stuff,
dude,
which we won't go too far into because one of our listeners, Brianne, I think, said she still hadn't seen Endgame, so we don't want to spoil it. Brianne, you got to let us know when you've seen Endgame so we can start spoiling it.
Yeah, man. And then if you go to the past, is that always? I don't know, man. We're going to start chasing our tails.
I'm gonna go to the past just to see people.
You're going to the past. I'm going to the future, and I'm bringing back a sex robot. All right, moving on to the Appalachian American. Mail call. Are you watching The Boys on Amazon Prime? It's pretty badass. Would like to hear what you think about it.
I'm one episode in, but that's only because of time constraints. I've been helping somebody do something. I'm editing a video for a group of people. But yeah, the one episode I've seen, I really dug. I can't wait to get into the rest of it.
Yeah, I was about halfway through episode 4 last night and started nodding off, and so I just paused it and went to bed.
Because you were sleepy, not because of the quality.
No.
Of the
Yeah.
show, right?
It's just been a long day, and it was like 11:30, and with the hours we work, come about 10:30, 11, I'm getting dozy, unless I've had some Coca-Cola.
Dozy.
But yeah. There you go. But yeah, The Boys is awesome. I recommend it to anybody. Really, really good show.
Absolutely.
All right, our good friend, Alex Jimenez. We love you, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, guys. This season of Fear has been really lackluster, but the main show is still great. I've been thinking about the comics recently. Do you guys have a favorite issue? Oh, man, that's tough. It's always hard for me to pick out like a specific issue of something. It's more like a story arc. But I do have a favorite issue, as a matter of fact.
Well, let's hear it.
It's the end of No Way Out, where all the zombies flood into Alexandria, man. Carl gets shot in the face, but spoilers, blah 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 blah. But yeah, man, just seeing them just go in and just go at those walkers, man. It was whatever. But yeah, that was my favorite issue.
I think my favorite issue, I don't know what number it is, but it was during All Out War. But I think I'd have to really think on it. Like JP said, I mean, hell, there was 193 issues, so it is hard to narrow down to one. But one of my favorite moments from the comic was when Negan had lined them all back up for a second time and was getting ready because Carl had shot and hit Lucille or whatever. And then he's just, he's about to eeny, meeny, miny, mow their ass, and all of a sudden Jesus comes out of nowhere, because if you listen to the podcast, you know that Jesus was one of my favorite comic characters, and it just displayed we knew he was a badass before, but now he's going toe-to-toe with the biggest bad in the show, or in the comic, excuse me, and he's kicking his ass. Like, Negan swings his bat, and like Jesus catches his bat, then takes his bat and pops him in the face with his own bat, gets him, wrapped up from behind or whatever. I think had like a gun or something on him, and was just like defeated Negan like in one fell swoop. And I was like, this dude's a badass. I think that was probably one of my favorite moments in the entire comic, because it's just like it made me want to stand up and cheer while reading.
Yeah, man, and God, there's so many good ones. Man, that could be its own podcast. I mean, Michonne hooking up with Tyrese.
Best moments
at the prison.
Best moments of the
Yeah, I mean, she hooks up with
Blowy.
Yeah, man, freaking slobs on his knob.
Led to Carol
killing herself, and then that fight between Rick and dude. I mean, there's
Tyrese, where Tyrese just about kills him.
I mean, there's over a decade worth of Walking Dead moments.
We could definitely maybe start like jotting. We just have to stick to it. We can maybe go back through. Maybe we could both go back through and start rereading the series and just jot down like our favorite moments and do like a top 10 best moments from the Walking Dead comics.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because there's a lot of them, man. I mean, hell, Negan's introduction. Even though it sucked to see Glenn go, it was such a like you knew this guy won't effing around. You know what I mean? Like the way he showed up was just amazing.
Yeah, man. Like and Negan and Rick, when Negan kind of like pulls Rick away from those zombies, and they get in the house and they have that moment. Where they
you know what? Yes, that might be one of my favorite moments too.
That's like I said, we could go for an hour.
That'd probably be in my top 5. I love the conversation, Nick, because they're running and Negan gets to the door first, and Rick kind of stops, and Negan's like, "Come on, you dumbass!" And Rick gets in, and Negan's like, "You probably thought I was going to lock you out, didn't you?" You know what I mean? Like it just was it was just
dude.
Negan's character was one of the best. Like you really got to know the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. So we'll keep that on our minds. All right. Last but certainly not least, Gage Waltner, mail call.
Not last. We do got Cindy's. Don't forget.
Oh yeah. We're going to come back to you, Cindy. You're right. All right, mail call. Hey there, guys. I'm listening to your Tuesday podcast and want to tell you how important Snapchat streaks can be to people. I once had a 365-day snap streak with a close friend of mine, and my then-girlfriend was mad at me because that Snapchat streak was longer than ours. So I broke the streak on purpose after a full year, and my friend was devastated because she thought it meant I didn't want to be her friend anymore, and I was cutting her out of my life. It was a big fight, and she hated me for about a month. I think trying to ban Snapchat streaks is a stupid government idea, and I think the senator who proposed it just can't get anyone to Snapchat him long enough to make a streak. But those are just my 2 cents. Thank you for the great content.
Well, thank you for your compliment, Gage.
365 days, dude. That's wild.
My girlfriend used to text me and go, streak, trying to keep it up. But I mean, the thing is, it's like someone else recommended. And if you're wondering why maybe you didn't hear that podcast and you're wondering why we're talking about Snapchat streaks. On Tuesday, we talked about this senator in Missouri who's proposing a law to force Snapchat to end the streak feature of its app because it's addictive. Yeah, and it was a whole long conversation. Please go check that podcast out to hear more if you're curious. But obviously, JP and I were not in favor of this because, I mean, we agree that cell phones are ruining us, but at the end of the day, it's all about free will. And if we get ruined, that's our choice to choose.
Yeah, man.
Blah, blah, blah. But,
I have conflicting feelings on it. I mean,
conflicting on the podcast. So you would agree with the government?
After we get off the mics, you do kind of think about things more. And like I said, I'm very much against a nanny state. If you want to eat yourself into diabetes or whatever, or smoke yourself to death, I think it's very much your choice.
Right.
Even with drugs, man, I'm for decriminalization and all that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Of drugs in general, not just weed.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, man, just with the nefarious things that social media companies are doing to get us addicted to our phones, unbeknownst to a lot of people, it does kind of make me think, like, what if Mountain Dew was putting an addictive additive in their drink? And, we didn't know about it.
No, I'm all for it. So somebody commented, maybe Brianne or someone, Jeep, somebody had commented, and I can go with this, maybe like, kind of like with cigarettes. You get warnings. You're told, hey, this can be yada, yada. That's fine if they want to, put a warning, like with, what was it? Metal Gear Solid 4. If you played that too long, the game would stop and it would say, you've been playing for X amount of hours straight. Get up, go outside for a little while, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You can do something, to that effect. But as far as just giving the government the control over how we spend our private time, it's just like, no, F you, man. Like, that's not.
Man. Like I said, it's very murky waters. It kind of reminds me of Batman Forever, like the Enigma box that everyone had on their TV and was brain draining them. I wonder if Batman nowadays would go, like, kick Jack Dorsey in the balls and take down his company because he thought he was. Anyway, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, there's no argument on if social media is harmful or not. We agree it is, just like we agree drugs can be harmful. Yeah. But the argument is, should the government be able to tell you what to do and how to spend your private time? And the answer to that for me is always going to be no. You know what I mean? Like that's absurd. Like you look over in China, where they have a limit on how much an actor can make because they say, and I'm not going to say quote, but almost quote, We don't want people getting obsessed with money. That's not good for your quality of life. That's not your job to tell me what to do for happiness, and you know what I mean. Like, you can give advice, you can offer, like, hey, a message from the government. Money's not the root of all happiness, blah, blah. But to step in and force things, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's I'm kind of conflicted on it. To me, it's almost like the government letting our town put lead in the water. I
don't know. I think we're looking at it different. I'm not looking at it from the aspect of, is social media harmful? Right. Duh, it's very harmful. But I look at it. I'm not gonna ever, because you've talked about the long con, the government basically getting us to beg for them to regulate us. Mm-hmm. And that's by allowing things like that. That's what you're doing. You're saying, like, hey, you know what's better for us than we do. Tell us how to live our lives. Social media sucks. I mean, we use it, obviously. We podcast, we have Twitters, we have all these other accounts. But I mean, that's not the argument. Social media sucks ass, and it's a drain on society. But that should be your choice, whether or not, like the Enigma boxes, you should have the choice. And if it's going to do something harmful to you, I don't mind telling them that you need to warn people who use your app that this can be addictive or yada yada. You know what I'm saying? But as far as a streak thing, I mean, that's just a strategy to get you to keep coming back. Go listen to that podcast. We talk about how radio does it, how television does it. What media form does not want you to keep coming back?
Yeah, I mean, the beast is evolving for sure.
That's every media. And if you're going to do that with Snapchat, then you need to do that on radio. You're going to have to do that on television. You're going to have to do that everywhere because, of course, any service wants you to keep coming back. You know what I mean? Like your gym wants you to keep coming back.
Well, I said I'm very much conflicted on it. I'm very conflicted.
But anyways, go listen to that podcast.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me, man, anybody looking for comic book recommendations, that kind of ties into what we were just talking about. Tokyo Ghost, it's a short miniseries. Rick Remender wrote it for Image Comics, man. You'd love it. I might bring in the issues for you to read.
How long ago did that come out?
Just a few years ago. It's not that old. Tokyo Ghost. All right, back to Cindy P. All right, we have got a nice little questionnaire here. Hey there, fellas. Now that the Walking Dead comic has come to an end, I need recommendations. Oh, well, here we go. This is the only one I've ever read, so I'm not too familiar with the others. I took a look around my local comic shop, but it was crazy overwhelming. I think the horror aspect is fun as long as it's not too disturbing, but even more, I love the survival aspect and storytelling of The Walking Dead. If anything comes to your minds, that would be awesome. By the way, I love the groovy music you played when you were guessing each other's answers last week. I was dancing while I listened, and my daughter was laughing at me, but I'm okay with that. Here's another round for you. So recommendations, man. I know we've done this before for other people. But,
Gideon Falls. Go get Gideon Falls. That's still coming out. That's horror, but it's not crazy disturbing like Terrify You horror. It's just more mysterious, and you're wondering what the hell.
Yeah.
Anything Jeff Lemire is going to do.
He's doing so much good stuff.
There's a lot of really good stuff. I'm just trying to think of something that fits in those guidelines.
Yeah, I'm better at recommending writers. Like Rick Remender, again, he's a really, really great writer. Tokyo Ghost, Black Science. He did a lot of stuff for Marvel a while back, but he's not really messing with Marvel anymore. Mark Millar, whatever you want to call him. He's British. I don't know if it's Miller with an AR at the end. I don't know if we're still supposed to say Mark Millar or Mark Millar, but he's doing a lot of cool stuff and has been for a long time.
Ascender, that's by Jeff Lemire. That's a really good
Black
series.
Hammer's Jeff Lemire, he's killing it with that.
Which that's more superhero.
Yeah, but it really it has a lot of fun with the superhero, with all the comic book genres. Really, you got a little bit of the sci-fi, a little bit of the horror.
Let's see. I'm just looking through trying to find things that I have that you might like that fit the survival horror kind of thing. Definitely get Gideon Falls. Oblivion Song isn't bad. It's got there's another dimension where people are stranded and they're surviving, kind of like The Walking Dead, and there are monsters and stuff. It's a little slow, but it's still pretty good. And that's by Robert Kirkman, who wrote The Walking Dead. So it's that same style. So if you are interested, check into Oblivion Song. Well, I think that would probably be my top two for what you were asking, would be Oblivion Song and Gideon Falls, both. One by Jeff Lemire, one by Robert Kirkman. But I'm trying to see if there's anything else, because I get a lot of The Realm is another really good one if you like that, like post-apocalyptic Earth. The Realm's weird because it's like dragons and goblins, and I'm not really into D&D and stuff like that, but like dragons and goblins and stuff have kind of taken over Earth in the same way that like zombies did, and you've got, no government, the world's collapsed, there's like survival camps set up and stuff, and you got a group of people that go in. There's one Michonne type character in a way. But yeah, that's a good one. Again, that's called The Realm. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I never got Road of Bones issue 2.
No, I didn't either. It's I think it's over there too. But I never really took the time to read the whole issue 1.
It was okay. It was
Reaver. That's more like Game of Thrones ish. But the first issue of that was really good, I thought.
Let's see. Yeah, I think that's probably my main suggestions would be Gideon Falls, Oblivion Song, and then The Realm. Those have that survival vibe to them. I'm sure I'll think of something after we get off the podcast, but yeah, check those out. Ascender, again. Ascender's got more of a sci-fi feel, but it is really freaking cool.
Yeah, and if you're a trade paperback person, I guess read Descender first. I never read it, which I know Ascender kind of is still... you can dive into that.
Yeah, I never put it that way. I love Ascender. I'm like 4 or 5 issues in, and I've never read Descender, which is his predecessor. It definitely probably has things you'll recognize, but he writes it in a way that, and that's what they had said when I read online about it, was that you don't have to have read Descender to read Ascender. So, pretty good.
Yeah. All right, you ready for a speed round of questions?
Sure.
All right. Ice cream, chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Chocolate for me, but it depends, man. I get burnt out on one, I go to the other, but I'm more of a chocolate head. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke, same here. Yeah. Comedies or thrillers?
Oh, we didn't do the thing where we guess each other's answers.
I did totally forget about that.
Comedies or thrillers? All right, let's do this. Instead of having to write it down when we get to it, guess for me, and I'm going to guess for you.
Okay.
All right, comedies or thrillers? You're going to go for comedies.
If it's a dark comedy, yeah.
What am I going to go for?
I know you watch a lot of horror movies, so I guess that would go under thriller.
You're right.
Yeah.
All right, nice car or nice home interior? I'm going to pick nice home interior for you.
I drive really crappy cars. And you just bought a new car, so you got a really cool, basement set up, man. I mean, that's kind of a toss-up.
Pick one, and I'll tell you if you're right or not, because I know my answer.
Yeah, I'll seeing as how it took you a long time to get that nice new car, I'll go with the home interior.
You're right. Yep, because I'm going to spend a lot more time in my home than I am in my car.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Never approach another red light or never have to stand in line again.
You're going to pick probably stand in line because you don't like dealing with people.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm stuck in traffic more than I'm standing in lines. So I'd probably go with the red light.
What am I going to go with?
I'd say the red light.
Nope, I'd pick to never stand in line again.
Really?
Because red lights don't last that long. Like you go to a theme park and you stand in line for 2 hours to ride a roller coaster. Okay. I'd much rather sit at a stoplight for a few minutes versus standing in line for 2 hours. Yeah. Or God knows if you have to go into the DMV.
Yeah, see, I never really go to theme parks, but the red light for me is probably because I got no AC in the car, so
stopping is hell.
You get stuck at a red light for a little while, it can be rough, especially this summer. Okay, Scooby-Doo or Tom and Jerry?
You would probably pick Tom and Jerry.
No, I watch Tom and Jerry, but definitely more Scooby-Doo.
What would I pick?
I'd say Scooby-Doo.
You're right. I would totally pick Scooby-Doo. I love Tom and Jerry, but Scooby-Doo was awesome.
Yeah, no offense to Tom and Jerry, but yeah, Scooby-Doo was great. In the car, music or podcasts?
Oh, man, that's tough. For you, probably, I don't know.
That's very much like a mood kind of thing.
Right. I was going to say, for me, I know you're supposed to be guessing mine, but for me, it is different. Some days I listen to podcasts. Some days I listen to music. It really just depends on the kind of day I'm having.
I will say this. If I had like unlimited data to where I could stream whenever and how much I wanted, I probably would be listening to talk more than music. Just because, music's a big part of our workday,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I probably would prefer podcasts over music, but I do. Some days I'm jamming going down the road.
It all depends. When sleeping, fan or no fan?
You like a fan.
I definitely like air moving, yeah. And I don't have central air, so yeah, I'll definitely sleep with a fan on.
What am I picking?
I don't know. You probably like, well, yeah, you got central air, so I don't know. I'll put a fan on you.
Yeah, I'd prefer to have a fan. I like it to be, and now it sucks to get up in the morning with it super cold, but when I sleep, I like for it to be real nice and cold, so you feel so good wrapped up under the covers.
Yeah, dude, I woke up this morning all snotty because that darn fan. Hamburgers or hot dogs? Tough one too, man.
You're gonna pick hot dogs, I feel like.
Man,
you love some hot dogs.
Dude, for real, it's a big talk. I mean, I eat a lot of both, man.
My answer should be obvious because I said it just the other week walking out of a restaurant. What am I going to pick?
I know you love a hot dog special.
Right, but what is it that I get super excited about?
I think... I guess burger?
Mine would be burger. We left out of that restaurant. I told you, I said, man, I don't think much makes me happier than a nice, good burger. Like, that's always my favorite. I love hot dogs. They're one of my favorite things on earth, but I think between the two, if it was one or the other, and it depends, too. It does depend, because like when we went to that, if I don't know how good the burger is going to be, then I'll just opt for hot dogs, because it's hard to mess hot dogs up. Whereas a burger, if it's not grilled right, not cooked right, it can be terrible or got like too much gristle in it, so... Yeah. But ultimately, I think if I have the best of both, I would probably pick a nice hamburger, like a nice cheeseburger.
Yeah, man, and honestly, like I'll go to a restaurant and spend, like one of those nice kind of restaurants with the burgers. I'll spend more on a burger dinner than hot dog.
If you ever find yourself in Lynchburg, Virginia, stop by Bootleggers, man, and get the Run for the Border burger. That thing is incredible.
Yeah,
I've made trips to Lynchburg just to get that burger.
Nice. All right, lastly, lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak. Oh, my God, that's awful.
You don't, well, I don't know. You read comics a lot. I was going to say, you don't read books often, but you don't.
It's going to be really hard not being able to speak.
Yeah.
I feel like,
I'm going to go from saying that you would pick the ability to read.
I mean, I would hate not to be able to read, man, but like not being able to speak, like I said, I'd have to learn sign language. I'd have to find another job. We'd both be out of work.
This podcast would cease to exist.
Yeah.
So I think we should both pick that we would rather lose the ability to read just so we can keep podcasting.
Yeah.
Even though we lose the ability to read, do we still have the ability to write?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because if you do, then, we could still do stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I would become I don't know. Maybe I would become an author just because I wouldn't be able to read anything, so I'd just write my own stories, which then I wouldn't be able to proofread my own stories after.
That's a humdinger, man. That's a humdinger.
I don't know. I guess if you couldn't read, you couldn't write. I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, being that both of our jobs and our livelihood depends on being able to speak, I'm going to say I would rather lose the ability to read, which breaks my heart because I read a lot. But
yeah, for sure.
So is that it?
That's it.
That is it for Mail Call.
I believe so.
Went almost an hour this time.
Wow.
So, make sure you check us out. Don't forget that we are now on the iTunes. You can find us over on SoundCloud. Also, we should be up on iHeartRadio soon. We are available on Spotify. We have a Twitter. We have a Facebook. We have all that good stuff for the channel. Make sure to go like and follow all of those when you have time. And like our good friend Caitlin Howard said, she actually might have commented. She said, yay for iTunes. I don't mind listening on YouTube at home, but the majority of my clients have zero to little cell service in their homes and no Wi-Fi. I always have to wait till I get home. So if you're in that situation, we've talked to a lot of people. We've had comments from people who have said, like, I wish you guys had this available on something other than YouTube because I like to listen to it going down the road. Mm-hmm. So now you got it. You can go to iTunes, absolutely free. You can download whichever episode it is you want to listen to and then just hear it going down the road.
Yeah.
Or wherever you may be.
Beautiful thing.
If you want to follow us a little bit more intimately, JP, let them know your social media info, home address, and phone number.
Yeah. I mean, give you the whole thing. My blood type. Che_Radsaw on Snapchat and Instagram, and JPSLIM on Periscope.
Boom. Mine is easy to find. It's all under one name on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope. You can find me, which I need to quit saying Periscope. I have not used Periscope in like 5 months. But it's just, I'm Justin Lloyd. All lowercase, no spaces, no apostrophes, and 2 L's in Lloyd. I'm Justin Lloyd will get you most of my social media info, and we thank everyone so much for your questions. If we can keep getting mail calls like this, then I can assure you mail call will stay. As for some of the other podcasts, I don't know. But mail call will stay.
Yeah, we're always, the podcasts are always evolving. Some stay, some go.
Yeah, but we are still here regardless. Yeah. So, and stay tuned. You'll probably find it. Maybe you'll see it before or after this, but we're going to do a follow-up. Another incident one of our listeners sent us about a body being mishandled. A body that was donated to science did not go for the science that the family had intended. So be looking for that. That'll be up today. But until we meet again, I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.